What is going on, my fellow Marvel Rivals gamers? It's your boy Apxche, and today we're doing a water review of the new map Krakoa. And the character we're looking at today is gonna be some Cloak and Dagger, right? So that being said, we'll do a brief overlook of the abilities. If you know this stuff already, you can skip ahead. I'll have a little timestamp right about here. But if not, we'll talk about the abilities and then we'll get into it. So Cloak and Dagger has 4 abilities, right? So she has her orb. Her orb is a little healing orb that you throw down. That if you're standing in it, it'll heal you. Obviously, I don't think it has a max range, so you can just chuck it as far as you want. It cannot reactivate it, so basically whatever surface it hits is where it heals. For one, two. I like to use this ability to kind of like sustain myself in times of need, or if the enemy team just really doesn't have dive, I like to throw it on people that I just really need to burst down. So like what I'll do is if I see somebody's about to get low, I'll depending on how far I am, I might window then orb or orb then window, just so I can make sure I'm getting the max amount of healing in the time that needed. So yeah, the second ability is going to be her shift. So Cloak and Dagger has 2 forms, Cloak and Dagger. Currently, we're in Dagger. So switching, basically, there's no cooldown on that, and that allows you to just basically go into your other form, which will give you access to other abilities, basically her damage form. And then her third ability is going to be, I like to call it Window. It's probably called like Light Veil, and I think the other one's called like Dark Veil. Basically, you throw a little window forward. Whoever it hits gets a little bit of healing. As well as it amplifies healing for a couple seconds, which is really good. So basically, I like to throw it just if my teammate's in front of me, I like to just hit all my teammates so we're just getting the maximum amount of healing. But it's also just good to amp not only your heals, but the heals from your other support and things like that. So if you know you're about to ult, you could just window, then pop your ult so that your ult's getting the maximum amount of healing that it can. And then with that being said, her ultimate ability, basically her and Cloak are out together. They dash around. They do 4 dashes, and it leaves behind a trail that heals and damages. So it heals allies, damages enemies. The trails do not stack in terms of healing per second, but if you were to go forward and come back, what that would do is basically overlap the trails, which will kind of give that area a refresh when it comes to having that mark on the floor. I like to use my ult aggressively most of the time as Cloak and Dagger to like just fight for space. You are vulnerable between each dash, so things like Hawkeye, a good time Magneto ult, or things like that can eliminate you when you are in those moments of vulnerability, especially at the end of your ult. So make sure you think about that and try to put yourself in positions to not get one-shotted, as well as yeah. Those would be probably the abilities and what I would have to say about that. Without further ado, let's get into the gameplay. Let's talk about some Cloak and Dagger. So, as we roll out, we'll talk about it. So we look at your comp. Your comp is kind of like a hybrid comp, but not really. You have a good amount of mobility. So if your team plays correctly, they will be looking to play pretty aggressive. So I would say out of all people that should be in the back, you should probably be the furthest one back. Just due to the fact that you can kind of heal everybody. Just be mindful that you have the most range out of your healers. So when it comes to healing DPS, that's going to be your priority, right? So your Sue will prioritize healing the tanks. You should be prioritizing healing the DPS, but then also helping out the tanks when you can. But obviously, you have the most range, so it's going to be the best if you are making sure that when they're low, they're getting targeted by you. Also, that crosshair is ginormous. You do not need a crosshair for this character. that big for a character like this. Also, her damage form, the autos, it's like a tracking beam, kind of like Scarlet Witch. So me personally, I like to fight for the high ground. I always think fighting for high ground is important, and as a support player, I think it's also important to be a big voice in your team. I know the map's new, so they probably don't know it, but they're probably just going toward the icon that says point. But I would say fight for high ground for sure. If your team's not going to do it, there's nothing you could do about it. Just make sure you put yourself in a position where you don't die. A lot of people, including myself, that don't really know that there's like underneath here. There's also a portal. The portal probably brings you up here. Not sure where. Oh, it brings you over here. Pretty sure. Where is it at? Somewhere. I don't know where that portal is. The map's new. But I would just say make sure you're rotating with your team. Don't be isolated here. Hulk, if you stay here for too long, Hulk can notice you, jump on you, and that will be a nightmare. So I would just try to, play around your team. Probably play here. Okay, that's where the portal will come. I think once the map opens up. But yeah, just try to stay a little bit closer to your team, I'd say. And also don't do damage with this form unless they're like super low or you just really need to hit a shot because it does like 15 damage. It does nothing. Yeah. I'd get a little closer. I probably like this tree here. Yeah. Oh, remember what I said about the Hulk? Freeze. Right? Good. Damn, you like got that down really quickly. I didn't even see it. But this is exactly what I was talking about here. And then you use your cloak. So you already like the Hulk forced you closer to your team. You got to be really mindful of like what you're doing. So he forced you down. Maybe you called it out, maybe you didn't, but your team's in a position to peel for you. I think if you would have orbed yourself and push come to shove, just like just called out to your team that can help you. I think you crossing out to the open here is like really dangerous. And then you're forced to kind of play this little thing here. If I right now, like you can't really, you have no abilities to save yourself anymore, so I would have just switched back to my dagger form, if anything, so I could heal, and then if anything, call for a shield or some kind of like opportunity to cross back to this tree. But you walking out in the open like that is kind of rough. Like you're not near any cover. You're down 2, I believe. Down 1. Yeah, gotta make sure you're using those veils, those windows. Right there. First fight, it's gonna be a positional error. Wasn't like egregious, but just gotta make sure that you're staying close to your team. Especially in the first fight that you don't know what you're playing into. You don't know if they're running dive. You don't know if they're running brawl, right? So you want to play it as safe as possible until you get the information you need and then adjust accordingly. Here we are, rolling back out. As of right now, I'm cool with you playing back here because you have teammates respawning, so you'll have some help in a bit, as well as I don't really think you want to jump down into, being so close to the enemy here. That window's very slow traveling and has limited range, so you got to be a little closer for that. Your Venom needs help. Venom. That's also another good thing about like orb, is like for people that are like need to get like a quick out of combat heal, you can throw the orb down and just look right back to your team. Yeah. Right now, like your team is inside of a Su ult, right? So while you're back here, kind of doing nothing, right? You could be inside of this this ult aura, right? And you could just be in your you don't even have to heal. You could be in your damage form, just helping your team do damage. Because in this ult, they're getting enough healing, right? You pretty much don't have to even help with the healing, right? But doing damage here could be really nice, just to help you build up your ult a little bit faster because you are at 93%. Just right now, you're just a little too far from the fight, not giving enough impact. And, your goal, if you want to rank up, it's all about just impacting the fight as much as possible, right? So, as a gold player, you're back here. Me being like a Celestial, I'm up here. I'm not even healing. But people probably think that's crazy. I'm doing damage. I don't need to heal. There's an ult here. My teammates need heal. Step into the ult. They don't. That's probably on them, right? But you could hit like a big Shadow Veil, right? Do damage. You could maybe like Shadow Veil support, kill the support. Like there's a lot you could be doing right now, but you're just too far away. So right now your other support doesn't have ult, so I wouldn't use your ult just yet because they might have an ult that you need to counter. Oh. So like you see how like you're like walking in front of enemies LOS? taking a lot of damage and it's forcing you to have to ult, it's no bueno, right? Because now that you've ulted, other ults are free to come out, right? And I know like, oh well, technically like Storm ult can kill through your ult, yada yada. But like if you throw down like a heal orb and all that stuff, like you can survive through it, especially with your other supports help. I would just say yeah, right now you're ulting, and then once this ult ends, they're gonna pop another ult. So I would say it's a good ult because it keeps you alive, an okay ult, but it's bad because the reason you have to pop it to stay alive is because you're not being positionally aware.
My time to shine. Much better.
So they're gonna come from the where your venom's at. So I would just be ready for that.
Just in time. Thanks.
Like right here, you need to be helping your venom. Your venom's taking so much damage.
A little help, please.
Gotta get a little closer. He swings out. You guys trade 1 for 1, 2 for 2.
Here they are.
Now look at your Sue. Like look at your Sue's like aggressive positioning. And it's not even like she's in a horrible spot, but like this is kind of like how you should be playing the game, like in a way where you're in a position to just impact the fight all the time. You know? Like Cloak is a very brawly support. There's a lot of tools to be in the action. This shouldn't kill you. Your teammate ulted. Just step in the ult. Oh, it's done already. Yeah, it's a lot quicker than I thought it'd be. Oh, you had orb, no? Oh, the switch happens too quick. No, you use your orb. But no. But Hulk jumps on you. Hey, you got caught off guard. Head's not on a swivel. I didn't know he was there either, but it's also because you're not looking around enough, which is like denying me information. But that's another thing too. So as of right now, a big thing, because we're probably about to go into round 2, is I would say you really need to focus on positioning, being more active in fights, as well as just keeping your head on a swivel, so that you're more aware of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? 98, 99, and got the OT. You're getting focused. She's one shot. She's one shot. She's one shot. You can kill her with. Oof! You just all you had to do was literally throw like one healing orb at her, and she dies.
Thanks.
Hey, she's full health. Look for people that actually need healing. You must have ult here. You don't need to use your ult. I don't think we ult here, especially if you're not going to contest this in a second. Ah. So the reason I don't like that ult is because I think you guys are not necessarily up, but like I think you guys were kind of winning the fight, and now you don't have any ults for next round. Maybe somebody else on your team will build it up. Good blind. So instead of like doing damage there, I would have blinded him and I would have went right back to healing because your other healer's dead. So like you doing this damage right now isn't helping. He has too much health. Your damage is not going to be like the difference maker to kill him because you don't do % damage. You do like a flat damage. %. You almost have ults again. We got 50. Okay, right now, like let's just think about this, right? You're in a 1v3 against a damage and two supports. Like, in what world do you win this, right? Like, just stay behind cover and heal your Venom. Like, keep this guy alive. You know what I'm saying? Keep him alive, save orb for yourself for self-sustain. Like, this drifting up here is just like, you can't do this. Because you're just gonna die. Like, good players will run you down. Like, the fact that they're, like, not is just an indicator that they're just not good enough at the game. Sorry, my asthma. But yeah, you should be getting run down. Which it looks like Hulk is, you know, very willing and has been doing that for the majority of the game. So yeah. Like, that's another thing too, like, that little error there, like, the higher you get up, you're gonna get punished for it instantly. That's one thing that you have to think about is when you rank up is just because things work, just because you get away with certain things like that, doesn't mean you can continue to do them, or not think it's not that it's okay. Just solely due to the fact that the main proponent of ranking up is figuring out what can I no longer do, because if I do it, I'll get punished. And as you slowly correct those mistakes, you'll slowly get better and slowly rise up the ranks. Right, your dude's portaling. Just stay with your dude. Okay.
I expect we will face each other again soon.
Your boy just popped a 3-minute cooldown and nobody went with him. That's so unfortunate.
The perfect
Feel the wrath of the dragon!
Your homie has ult, so that shouldn't kill you. Why doesn't he ult that? Like, I mean, that's kind of on your Sue there. Your Sue said, yeah, your Sue needs to ult there. And if I'm you, and you know that your Sue has ult, make that call when she, you know, Sue ult to Storm ult when she ults. You know what I'm saying? Because I would much rather we use an ult to save 2 lives than to let both my supports die. And I know it's not your ultimate, but like I said, as a support player, you need to be a voice. And I would much rather you calm that to him and go, I know what I'm doing, than you not say nothing and allow that to happen. Because that's egregious. Alright, so we're rolling back out. We are down 1. We have to kind of chill here. Unless somebody's just in a really bad position, you can punish it. For the most part, you kind of just chill. Venom going in is ridiculous. Puts the damage for him here. I'm not even worried about... Well, I'm not... It's okay. So if I'm you, I'm not worried about healing Venom because he has 2 abilities that allow him to basically save his life. He goes in, fights, uses his ult, right? He has health, right? He gets low, pops his shield, right? And then he can by then he should have his swing. He can swing out, right? So I'm okay with that healing him because a good Venom should keep himself alive. I like what you did here, the choice to fight the Hulk, yada yada. Venom's just trolling.
That's a bad job. Thanks.
You are not a damage dealer. You need to chill. You also lost one of your tanks, so gotta wait for your other tank to get back here. Yeah, you're definitely using your veils a little bit better now compared to what you were using in the beginning. Oof, you need to ult here. Actually, no, your other support's ulting. If you can use your right click to get into the ult, that'd be huge. Right click, get into the ult. Oof, no. I had the first thought about ulting it's the same first thought about ulting until I saw this ult. So if I hear disappear, I'm not ulting. I'm just gonna right click, get into the ult, and then wait till after this ult ends, and then maybe use my ult. The reason for is you're double stacking support ults. Now when this ends, now they can use their ults, right? So these ults end, Loki copies the storm and then just deletes y'all, right? So that's you can't break webs, you need to break the nest, so just be mindful of that. So like I said, in a good lobby, the Loki would have, the second you ulted, the Loki would have chilled, copied Storm, and then killed y'all. But this is gold, so he did it. So just be mindful. Be very, very mindful of of double stacking your ults, especially until Lucky Storm. Storm ults. Doosh, doosh, double kill. Yeah. Triple. Yeah, and y'all can't prevent it because we don't have support ults, so. That's so crazy that y'all are able to pull that off. Here we are. I'm just throwing my orb down in my window.
I got you covered.
What in the world? If you're gonna damage, at least throw your orb down. Ugh, you dying there's, I don't know. No, no bueno.
Time to shine.
Use the portal, use the portal, use the portal, use the portal. Use the portal! This takes you like right here. Yeah, you just skip forward. I'm saying that you'd already been here. I know that when you watch the video, you're gonna send me a DM and you're gonna be like, I didn't even know there was a portal. I didn't know that portal did anything. I thought it was for decoration.
You've captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going.
I think you're too far, especially with teammates like being up here. Like I would prefer your positioning to be here, right? Impact your team. Impact your team. You're here. You can only heal one side of the fight. I'm not a fan of it. You know? Like just you want to be like here, right? With everyone in basically in your LOS. Obviously you can't always have positioning like this because of the risk and whatever, yada yada yada. But your team's in here, right? And your Sue's here. And if Loki starts spamming, you cool. Just back up a little bit. Now you're here. You know what I'm saying? Like this is not the perfect position. Probably this would be a lot better because you could still impact both. But somewhere along this side is where you optimally want to be.
No worries. I've got it.
Yeah. So a lot of the times your support is popping ult to just pop it and not necessarily denying an ult. So I want you to learn from their mistakes and make sure when you're popping your ults, you're popping it for a reason, right? To counter an ult or to save lives. Like, if we're just popping this to pop this, ults like the Storm are just gonna come through and get picks. Even the Hulk, you know.
Feeling fantastic.
You don't want to be here alone. Go to your team. You waste your orb on the wall. I don't even know where your orb went.
I appreciate you.
What in the hell? I wouldn't even worry about throwing those little daggers at them. It's 15 damage for that isn't not worth. Get ready to be in your shadow form. Go to your shadow form. You're gonna need it. You're gonna need it. You're gonna need it. You're gonna need it. So your ult doesn't heal enough to survive storm ult. You have to be ready to cloak, right? Majority of the time you want to switch into your cloak form before you ult so that you're already in it. So that, you know, push comes to shove, right? You can just cloak. Cool.
Let's keep fighting until we have the winner. I'm back to
Lights out.
Watch. She's gonna go through the portal. And you're gonna go, what? Oh, you walk past it. Oh, no. You gotta get back faster. No, you're taking the long way. Yeah, that's just map awareness. That'll come with time. But yeah, this fight's over.
A spider infestation.
Last ditch effort. Alright, so we're gonna get into the notes because that's GG, right? Yeah, that's G. Alright, note time. Note time. Alrighty, so these are going to be the notes for today, right? So, number one, positioning is key. We have to make sure that we're putting ourselves in a position not only to be close enough to our team to heal optimally, but just to make sure that we're using our kit to the fullest potential, right? Cloak and Dagger is a brawly support, which means that typically going to be closer in the mix, so you can be hitting those veils, right? Cloaking your team out of dangerous positions, yada yada, right? Especially like I didn't talk about earlier, but you can cloak and have your team not take damage from ults or just get away from ults, things like that, right? So it's like you definitely want to be in a position to make sure that you're getting the most value of your kit, as well as not isolating yourself to get dove. The number one thing to do initially is to roll out with the assumption that they're playing dive, and then if they're not, or they don't have a character that can bully you for being out of position, then you can start to drift off, because if your kit allows it, you can be in those farther positions and know that you're safe and won't get isolated, right? Number two is head on a swivel. It's very important to make sure that you're looking around as much as you can, just so you have a broader idea of what's going on. I like to think that supports have the most knowledge every fight, because they're usually far enough to where they can look around and see the whole fight, right? They see the bigger picture. Make sure that you're looking around so you're not getting flanked without knowing, so you're not letting a teammate die without knowing. Always be looking around. It can seem like a lot, but playing a support is really a mental game. It's really about being the most aware and the most impactful. Right, number three is going to be ult management, making sure we're using our ult for the right reasons. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I like to use cloak ult aggressively, especially because you build it so fast. So for the most part, like if I got a support who already has their ult, so I don't need to counter anything, I'll use it to initiate a fight. I'll use it to just flat out heal and allow myself to do damage, because for the most part, cloak ult doesn't really counter much anymore because it doesn't stack when it comes to the trail, right? So I would say look for more aggressive ults, build it, play a little bit closer so you can build it a little bit faster. Number four is going to be vocal, right? As a support, as a leader, as a player who wants to rank up, you have to be the voice of the team. You have to speak, you have to lead, you have to guide, right? For example, when your Sue has that ult that can save two of you and she doesn't pop it and you die, which loses you the fight, that's bad, right? And even though it should be common sense that she needs to use her ult there, sometimes people aren't paying attention. So by you saying, hey, Sue, I need you to ult this storm ult, don't let us die, right? It'll allow her, right, to make a good play, and you will be the reason for that. And you will, even, like I said, even they go, oh, I know how to play the game, don't tell me how to use my ult. At least you said something, so that if she does ult, cool. If she does it, you can be like, okay, right? And you know you did all you could to win that fight. With that being said, that's going to be the end of this VOD review. I want to thank everybody who took their time out of their day to watch me coach people. Hopefully you enjoyed it and learned something along the way. For anybody who's interested in coaching, you know where to go. Down in the description down below, I have a link that will lead you to my Discord where you can submit a VOD review. And for those who have stuck around for the whole video, I just want you to know today I'm recording. It is April 15th. It is my birthday. And if you stuck around long enough, you'll know that information. So just comment down below happy birthday so I know you stuck around the whole time, and I'll really appreciate it. With that being said, hopefully you guys have a great morning, day, night, wherever you may be. Coach Apxche, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Take care.